Okay.
Yes, yeah, I don't know why you think.
Some way to, I tell you right now, behind the scenes.
Oh, you're late. We're going live. Oh, man.
Okay, I'm gonna call the Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025 regular session of council order at 6:02 PM. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Greora, Mrs. Cray, Mr. Moran, Mr. Dunman.
Here.
Ms. Gersh.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna move to good and welfare. I do want to take a quick moment of silence to acknowledge the passing of Mrs. Shukta, who passed this past week. If we could have a moment of silence for her and any other member of the community. Thank you. Council, do you have any good and welfare? Turn your microphone on, please.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mrs. Cray.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Council, I'm going to ask when you are speaking, turn your microphone on. When you're not, turn it off. We do seem to have some cooperation from the cameras today. Not entirely perfect, but better than it has been. Can I have a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussion of personnel issues, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employer official, pending a potential litigation, and property acquisitions if necessary? So moved.
Right.
Moved by Mr. Moran, seconded by Mr. Dunman. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Greora,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
Mr. Dunman.
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Okay, if we could move, Chief Majoy, if you could join us, and we could move to the large conference room. Council, we'll move to the large conference room. Okay, are we ready? Can I have a motion to resume regular session?
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded, please call the roll.
Mrs. Greora,
Yes.
Mr. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Okay, back in regular session. Can I have a motion for the approval of the November 4, 2025 regular session of council meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion approved. Okay. Council has before them ordinance 2025-38 presented for suspension of rules and adoption. Council, the reason you're getting this ordinance again, or this ordinance to replace and repeal the prior ordinance, is because we approved the village's insurance policy. After doing so, our broker continued to negotiate with our carrier and was able to get our increase down from nearly 20% to, is it about 5% now?
It was 28%.
28% down to about 5%. So we were seeing a significant reduction in the overall annual rate of increase. So we had to pass a new ordinance to adopt that and reflect that point. Any questions about that? Clerk, will you please read the ordinance?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to procure group medical insurance coverage with Medical Mutual of Ohio, known as Cozy MIWA 3020-2000 RX with employer HRA funding, repealing ordinance 2025-34 and declaring an emergency.
Mayor, I move that ordinance 2025-38 be adopted, rules suspended, and that 2025-38 be placed on its first, second, and final reading for immediate passage.
So moved. Moved and seconded. Clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension of rules?
Mrs. Greora,
Yes.
Mr. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Please call the roll to adopt.
Mrs. Greora,
Yes.
Mr. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-38 is adopted. Council has before them ordinance 2025-39 presented for suspension of rules and declaring an emergency. Clerk, could you please read the ordinance?
An ordinance amending ordinance 2025-09 relating to the pay, remuneration, and benefits of police personnel and declaring an emergency.
Council, are there questions?
Mayor, I move that ordinance 2025-39 be adopted, rules suspended, and that ordinance 2025-39 be placed on its first, second, and final reading for immediate passage.
So moved. Moved and seconded. Clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension of rules?
Mrs. Greora,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Please call the roll to adopt.
Mrs. Greora,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
Mr. Dunman.
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-39 is adopted. Council has before them ordinance 2025-40 presented for suspension of rules and adoption. Clerk, will you please read the ordinance?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with UMA Inc. for the communication solutions and declaring an emergency.
Hmm.
Clerk, or council, any questions?
Mayor, I move that ordinance 2025-40 be adopted, rules suspended, and that 2025-40 be placed on its first, second, and final reading for immediate passage.
Second. Please call the roll on suspension of rules.
Mrs. Greora,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
Mr. Dunman.
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Please call the roll to adopt.
Mrs. Greora,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-40 is adopted. Council has before them resolution 25-28 presented for suspension of rules and adoption. Clerk, will you please read the resolution?
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Fleet Cards USA for the provision of fleet fuel gas cards in the village of Newburgh Heights and declaring an emergency.
Chief Majoy, would you outline this, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I made this proposal to the mayor. Currently, we buy our fuel from Speedway, and it's worked out fine. However, it is sometimes challenging because Speedway has gone down, and it leaves us really no alternative than to find another Speedway. And so there's not one in town. It's a bigger imposition for the fire department when they need diesel fuel. And it's also an imposition because every time we need to get fuel, the officers have to go inside, wait in line, have them authorize the fuel pump, go outside, pump the gas, come back inside, and then pay for the gas. So we looked at Fuel Man. Fuel Man allows us to get fuel at any of the 3 gas stations in Newburgh Heights. There's cost savings. It allows for better fuel management. In other words, we can go to each car and see how much fuel that they're getting, and keep track of mileage things. We do this now, but it's all manual. And so there's a lot of hours, the man hours that go into that. It's a much better management system, in my opinion. It'll save money over the course of time. And I talked to my fellow department heads, and you can do it whatever way you want. At the police department, we will put a card in every cruiser, and you can limit the amount of gallons. And so if it's a 18-gallon tank, the most that they can get is 18 gallons. So in terms of auditing and possible theft or something like that, there's systems of checks and balances in place. And so I recommend we go with this for not only the cost savings, but the time savings that go along with it.
Council, any questions for the chief?
Mayor, I move that resolution 25-28 be adopted, rules suspended, and that resolution 25-28 be placed on its first, second, and final reading for immediate passage.
Second.
Please call the roll for suspension of rules.
Mrs. Grayor,
Yes.
Mr. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Please call the roll to adopt.
Mrs. Grayor,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Resolution 25-28 is adopted. Council has before them resolution 25-29, presented for suspension of rules and adoption. Clerk, will you please read the resolution?
A resolution authorizing the fiscal officer to attend the requisite public records training on behalf of the village council and mayor for the current term and declaring an emergency.
Questions? Mayor, I move that resolution 25-29 be adopted, rules suspended, and that 25-29 be placed on its first, second, and final reading for immediate passage.
Second.
Please call the roll for suspension of rules.
Mrs. Grayor,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Please call the roll to adopt.
Mrs. Grayor,
Yes.
Mr. Moran.
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Resolution 25-29 is adopted. Council, I will want to note that this is a training that I do annually myself. I strongly encourage council to at least once a term take this training yourself as well. And we can find dates for you and work with the auditor of state and determine and to get you scheduled into a session. I think some of these are even done online.
Yeah, Mayor, there is one December 11th that I have signed up for. It is virtual, and I think I shared that with all of council as well.
Thank you very much.
I think it's 10 a.m. I know it's in the morning.
Some of them are in the afternoon. It just depends on which one you sign up for.
The Auditor of State website. I'll send it again, Lynn.
Thank you, Michelle.
Mhm.
Council has before them payroll resolution 4678, 4679, and 4680 presented for suspension and suspension of rules and adoption. Clerk, will you please read the resolutions?
Payroll resolution 4678, a resolution authorizing and directing the payment of certain bills. Be it resolved by the council of the village of Newburgh Heights of Ohio that the following bills be paid and the same are hereby approved. And the fiscal officer and mayor are hereby respectfully authorized to draw their warrants and checks for payment of said bills as set forth on the following pages in the total amount of $1,238,386.93 and declaring an emergency. Payroll resolution 4679, a resolution authorizing and directing the payment of certain bills. Be it resolved by the council of the village of Newburgh Heights of Ohio that the following bills be paid and the same are hereby approved. And the fiscal officer and mayor are hereby respectfully authorized to draw their warrants and checks for payment of said bills as set forth on the following pages in the total amount of $106,589.35. Payroll resolution 4680, a resolution authorizing and directing the payment of certain bills. Be it resolved by the council of the village of Newburgh Heights of Ohio that the following bills be paid and the same are hereby approved. And the fiscal officer and mayor are hereby respectfully authorized to draw their warrants and checks for payment of said bills as set forth on the following pages in the total amount of $112,579.53 and declaring an emergency.
Mayor, I move that payroll resolutions 4678, 4679, and 4680 be adopted, rule suspended, and that payroll resolutions 4678, 4679, and 4680 be placed on their first, second, and final reading for immediate passage.
Second.
Please call the roll for suspension of rules.
Mrs. Graylor,
Yes.
Mr. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Please call the roll to adopt.
Mrs. Graylor,
Yes.
Mr. Moran,
Yes.
Mr. Dunman,
Yes.
Ms. Gersh.
Yes.
Payroll resolutions 4678, 4679, and 4680 are adopted. Okay, that's it for legislation. Moving on to reports. Councilwoman Grayorah.
I'd just like to remind all the residents and employees with children or grandchildren that the children's Christmas party will be Saturday, December 13th. You do need to register for that. Please call 216-641-2123 and register no later than next Thursday. Again, children's Christmas party, December 13th. Please register 216-641-2123. Thank you. That is all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Moran.
Everybody, happy Christmas and good new year, and everybody be safe.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Dunman.
I am without words tonight.
Oh, the places we could go with that. Councilwoman Gersh.
I have nothing at this time.
Thank you. Okay, a couple things, for those that celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. I hope your Thanksgiving was great. I want a special call out and thank you to the service department and their personnel for coming out on Thanksgiving and plowing, leaving their families and their friends and coming out and serving their residents in Newburgh Heights. Thank you for that. I want to echo Mr. Moran's statements. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We won't be meeting again until third week of January. Well, we'll have a special, that'll last about 5 minutes. And that was the next note I had. We will have a year-end special council meeting scheduled for December 30th at 6 p.m. It will be intended to, clean up the appropriations ordinance and bring everything into compliance with the county budget commission and the state auditor's office as it relates to filing your appropriation and making sure that it's lined up the way that it's supposed to. It's something we do every year. But this year it will be December 30th at 6 p.m. I wouldn't anticipate that meeting lasting more than 15 minutes or so. That is it for my report. Council, do you have any questions for me? Okay.
Thank you. Council, we can review the finance report for this month. The November 2025 RETA report, we received $86,506.52 in November of 2025, which was an increase of a whole $245.09 or 0.28% over November last year. Questions, comments? One more month, we should probably reach our year-end projection. And if not, it'll be awful close.
Any questions for Kathleen?
I've got a
Oh,
fun
very
cash
good.
report
Report.
for October. Because it's only November 4th or December 4th, and November is not anywhere close to done yet. The bank didn't even issue the statements, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I was shocked this afternoon. General fund receipts in October of 2025 were $707,272.04. General fund disbursements in October 2025 were $623,353.13. And the unexpended balance in the general fund in October 2025 was minus $128,904.13. All funds receipts in October 2025 were $1,149,400 $4.24. All funds disbursements in October 2025 were $1,238,386.93. And the unexpended balance in October 2025 for all funds was $509,177.08. Excuse me, I have to get some tissue. That's all I have unless council has questions.
Council, do you have questions about that? I can share with you that we anticipate and feel the November fund to cash statement, the general fund balance will be a positive number. We have climbed that hill and reversed that from being a negative to a positive. So we are moving slowly in the right direction. Chief Majoy.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick things. Just a reminder for council and the residents. The clerk of court, my administrative assistant, and myself are all notaries. And so if you need a notary public during normal business hours, there's no charge for residents. We have it on our website, but every now and then we get asked. So I figured I would share that. At the beginning of the meeting, we did a moment of silence, and we received a notification from the family recognizing the officers from the police department, members of the fire department. And I want to just point out Fireman Steven Zad, Mike Tusai, Nate Bennett, and Nick Kugler, along with officers Matthew Hitch and Spencer Tosser. They were all on that call when the resident passed away, and the family spoke very highly of them. And I just want to recognize those officers for a job well done. These are hard calls to go on when somebody passes. Obviously much harder for the family, but it also impacts the officers who go there, and they were very compassionate to the family, and they were thankful for that. So I just want to recognize those officers. Last, I want to mention, we've had 2 snow bans so far this year, and accompanying that snow ban were 67 parking tickets that we would prefer not to have issued. However, we do give residents fair notice. We put it on social media. We put it on all news stations. We broadcast it all over the place to let residents know. And they did a fairly decent job last night. We did one in anticipation, and it did well. But the snow plow drivers, that's a daunting task, and it's really hard to go around. And Mr. Bissler can elaborate on that. It's really hard to dodge parked cars, and the last thing we want is our snow plows hitting parked vehicles, which is why we want them off the streets. And so, continue to share with their friends and neighbors in town. If you think snow's coming, watch social media, look at the news. You call us if you're not sure. We'll tell you if there's a parking ban or not, and get those cars off the streets. And it's for no other reason than to get them plowed for safety. So that's all I have.
Drove down the streets with the loudspeaker on, telling everybody to move their cars.
Yeah, we do that.
That's not effective.
We knock on doors. We run license plates. We try to call people with our Ring Central app. But if it's a car that's not registered locally and there's no phone number for them, we try to give them the benefit of the doubt as much as we can. But at some point, we did have to tow one vehicle, but it was a problem for the snowplow, so we had to tow it. It's winter time. Get ready for it. Park the cars off the streets. Do what you got to do. But it's very helpful for the plows to get those cars off the street.
You got,
Yeah, go ahead.
Chief, there was a comment on social media about folks who don't have driveways, or perhaps there's multiple vehicles. Can you give a little update on where folks can park if there's no place in their own driveway? And the other thing I want to mention, and I had this conversation with 2 residents, there's signage all over the village. When snow exceeds 2 inches, I think you guys do a fine job of letting folks know.
Right. There is public parking right along 42nd Street, and there's plenty of room there for cars. Right just north of Harvard Avenue, we recommend residents park their vehicles there. That's free parking. It's public parking. You don't have to worry about snowplows there.
I would add there's parking in this parking lot as well.
Right. We try not to overdo our parking lot, only because we need to get the police cars in and out of here, and employees in and out of here and stuff like that. But, some folks that live like on Arlington, we've allowed them to park here temporarily. on the condition that they move it back because the snow's got to go somewhere. And when it snows and melts and snows and melts and snows and melts, that's fine. But when it starts to pack up, you got to find a place to put it. And, there's only so many places the snow can go. But, residents just need to be resourceful and try to figure it out. But we don't want them resorting to parking their cars in the grass. We just had that happen this evening. It's been addressed, and the residents are complying. But we still don't want cars parked in the grass either.
Good. Michelle? Good.
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Chief, thank you. Chief Wise?
Fire department has no new business.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Schickler?
I did want to pass this down to council. I just got this in. It's the third quarter report for the Heritage Home Program. Other than that, I don't have anything unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions for the building department? Mr. Sickles?
Construction season is wrapping up, so we have a brief report here. In the 20s neighborhood, it's pretty well complete. There's just a few very minor punch list items that may or may not get done this year yet. They may roll into spring, but again, they're very minor and nothing that affects residents, so they can all get in their driveways and things like that. East 26th, the concrete sidewalk if it didn't get wrapped up this week, it'll be very close. Again, that is a weather dependent thing. It's going to warm up a little bit in the future. So anything they didn't get done, they will get done. All residents can get in their driveways. The road is in, so that the majority is done over there. Topsoil and seeding will happen in the spring. They were hoping to get it wrapped up, but they weren't able to. But I'll remind residents, anyone who's watching that lives over there, know that they tend to not do that until they know the seed can grow and the grass will take. So you can't do it in, just because we get a quick warm up in end of February, you can't just throw it down and then hope. So they tend to do it in more of the end of March, April timeframe. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Sickles? Okay. Mr. Bissler?
Thank you, Mayor. Council has my report. With the snow, I will reiterate what Chief Majoy said. Thank you for those who did cooperate with moving their vehicles. It is a very hard task to get the plow truck around a parked vehicle, because then it ruins the resident behind that parked car and their apron. Because it leaves big boulders, and especially with this wet, heavy snow that we had the past few nights, it created a lot of headaches and phone calls. So if you guys can please pertain to the rules and regulations that we put forth, that'd be great. With that being said, on a brighter note, you guys should received a flyer in the mail from Rumpke. If you haven't, it should be within the next couple of days. Pertaining to the details of their services. Their services is starting on January 1st. Kimball is going to be pulling out. We'll post more information on the social media as the dates get closer. So you guys will get 2 new trash toters, and the old ones will be removed. So bear with us as that's a growing pain and creating a turn of events. Leaf removal is still ongoing. Obviously, I wrote this when there was no snow, but we'll play it by ear and see what the weather brings. If there is a thaw of the snow and we could get back out, we'll try to get back out at least one more time. So if you have leaves left on your tree lawn, we'll do our best to pick them up. Snow removal's ongoing. For a discussion topic, I put in the bottom of my letter here for the loop detector on East 27th. Majoy, you might be able to chime in a little bit on this as I'm more new to it, but there used to be a red light at Harvard and East 27th. They installed a loop detector, so we can put it back in the loop if we want a red light, or if we want to continue to leave it a flashing light. That
So-
would be a discussion to be had.
I think the red light is gonna be turned back on. If I understand the emails that went around about that issue, they just wanted to wait until 26 was finished being paved. So that light is gonna come back on, if that's correct. Yep.
And that's all I had. If council has any questions.
Any questions for Service Department? Okay,
I have a question, sorry. I had a question. I don't know if this is Mr. Bisler or you. Is, Kathy Edwards Park going to reopen? Like, is it open for the winter?
yeah, I mean, I guess technically speaking, people can use it in the winter if they choose to. The reason it's been closed is because of the construction, but as you've heard, we're pretty close to having that move out. And we'll make a notification that it's free. On that note, thank you, talking of parks, the dog park is temporarily closed because the fire department backed into the pavilion and knocked it over. That obviously didn't happen. The structure itself collapsed from the weight of the snow. And there had been some erosion at the base of those posts for some time now. And interestingly enough, Tim and I had just talked a month ago about replacing those and getting that and unfortunately we got this heavy snow before we could get to that project. So, it's true, it wasn't the fire department that hit it with their engine, but I'm going to blame them anyway. Any other questions, council? Okay, moving on to purchases and approval. Can I have a motion for the approval of the October 2025 fund cash report?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for the approval of various expenses for the children's Christmas party that cost not to exceed $1,000?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. I have a motion for the approval of the repair of the Harvard Avenue traffic island and welcome to Newburgh Heights sign by Crusoe sign at a cost not to exceed $19,300. And so the council knows where this money's coming from. It came from the person that wiped the sign out, their insurance carrier. So it's
First
not,
time or second time?
actually, it's been hit 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is not coming from village funds. This is coming from an insurance, somebody's insurance.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Well, it's, usually they're drunk. Sometimes they just drive away and leave their car. Sometimes they leave their car and walk away. It just depends on who it is and how high they are.
They've all been impaired.
I believe that's the case.
Well, we were lucky in this one because the person had good insurance which covered it.
Yeah. Can I have a motion for the approval of the Heritage Home Program 2026 renewal at a cost not to exceed $1,380?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for the approval of the appointment of John, Chief, can you pronounce his last name? Spahia? Okay, Spahia to part-time patrol for Newburgh Heights Police Department. He'll be acting as a bailiff at court, if I understand correctly, Chief.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. This is the portion of the meeting we open to the floor to the public for comment. We simply ask that you direct your comments or questions at either myself or a member of council. If we need input from a department head, we'll pull them in. And we just ask that you keep your questions or comments to 5 minutes or less. Anyone?
Glad I don't have street parking on Washington Park, so it makes it really easy.
Real quick, name and,
Jeff Moore, 3674 Washington Park.
thank you, sir.
The other thing is, I just recently got back from my second trip to El Salvador, and there's a miracle of humanity happening down there, and it's an amazing place. The soil is very fertile. Land is available if anybody's looking for a Plan B strategy. I can connect you with all the right people. What's happening down there is amazing. A lot of multinational companies are going to be basing their Latin American headquarters down there. Steak and Shake is looking to open 15 stores and base their operations in Latin America down there, and are definitely moving toward the Bitcoin standard. So my advice would be for the city to possibly start acquiring Bitcoin on a regular basis, as it will be the world's reserve currency probably within the next 10 years. And the dollar is a melting ice cube in your hands. So I just wanted to point that out. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments or questions? You have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Meeting adjourned at 7:03 PM.
What did it say? He said he could move.